Friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, hit like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us out, and I appreciate everybody who does that. All right, Asmongold apologizes. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you all about what my reason was for getting suspended on Twitch, and also what my plans are going forward. I'm going to try and structure this video into two parts, where the first part is going to be me talking about the Twitch suspension, second part is going to be talking about myself. And the first thing I want to start off with is something
I do want to say, I just want to say, okay, that I feel like in leftist spaces, and not all leftists, right? But I feel like in leftist spaces, on the fringes, it's not only acceptable, but it's encouraged to advocate for what they call a one-state solution. And a lot of these people openly call for all Jews to be expelled. Go back to Poland, go back to Europe, wherever you're from, etc., whatever that means. And this kind of stuff is not policed at all on Twitch's end at all. You can embrace a group like the Houthis, you can embrace a group like Hezbollah, you can embrace a group like Hamas, and there are no consequences for that. Okay, so one of Hassan's mods, Frogan, was it her? I don't want to slander her. Was she the one that was like, what did y'all think revolution was? No, book clubs, protests? Was she the one that said that? I think she tweeted that on October 7th or 8th as the bodies were piling up. Okay. And that kind of language is not policed at all. And so I do think there is a little bit of a double standard going on here. That being said, I think what I almost said Hassan. I think what Asmon said was so out of pocket. Just, you know, I feel like he was trying to be a little edgelord and he flew way too close to the sun on that one. And he got bit. The internet bit him. You know, there was quite a backlash. So, yeah.
That I know it might sound.
And not only did she not experience any consequences for her kind of unhinged rhetoric when it came to October 7th, they made her like, what was it? Like, it was like Twitch had like a, you know, like Women of the Year kind of thing. And it was like it was a category on Twitch that was always on the front page. And there was a carousel of like female content creators. And so anytime she went live, she was on like the front page because she was in this like, you know, like, I don't know what it was. It was just like best women of Twitch, you know, or something like that. And for, you know, for her to post what she did so shortly after October 7th is just as unhinged. Maybe not. Okay, I take that back. It's like 70% as unhinged as what Asmongold said. Like, we'll say 70%, okay?
Sound a little bit insincere because of how ridiculous this is, but I really mean it, and if you listen to the whole video, I hope you can see why. Everybody who's come and spoken out and talked to me and said stuff about me, you know, aside from the, oh, you should kill yourself or something like that, I want to say that I really appreciate you. And I think this has been something that's a long time coming. And I actually think that this is something that not only I deserved, but it's also something that I needed. And I want to talk about what the reason for that is, but I want to start off and just make sure that that's actually very clear. So a couple of days ago, I made some comments about Palestine and also about Hamas and, you know, some just general, you know, basically opinions that were trivializing the genocide that's happening there. And I don't really want to like mince words or like try to like, oh, I wasn't justifying or, you know, promoting it. I said something about it that was disgusting. I said that I didn't care about innocent people getting killed by another force, by any.
Pretty decent apology so far, just fully owning it.
Anything. And I think that that's a horrible, disgusting, mean-spirited thing to say. And I don't necessarily think that it was really racist, really, but when I'm using language like Palestinians or like the people there, rather than what my real language was, I've always been very outspoken and very against religious extremism, and I still am. I think that this
is what I meant before when I told you guys that like using language like inferior in conversations like these is a minefield. Because you can have no kind of like racial sort of intent, like nothing beneath that, but people are going to take it that way. And yeah.
Any religion and any way of thinking that's going to cause you to put other people in like kind of positions below you as like, you know, like gay people, women, people with disabilities, anything like that. I think that that's a really bad position to have, and I really don't like that. And I think that my problem and my fault here was that I was making a criticism of religious extremism, and I made no effort. And I feel like almost, I've rewatched the clip, right? Or a number of
Coffee with 2 months, respect the plight with a gifted sub. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
the clips. And it's like I've almost made an effort not to draw a distinction between the two things. I think that a lot of us here can easily say that we're against religious extremism. And I am. But whenever I categorize everybody in the area as this, like, group, then I'm the asshole. And I was the asshole. I had a lot of you guys tell me that. And it's taken me, this is what's so crazy about it, is that I think this has been going on now for like 2 years.
I want to judge him for his room being so messy, but if I didn't have Esme in my life, if I was a bachelor and I was just living by myself, now, I don't know if it would be this bad, but there have been times, I'm just saying, there have been times in my life when right here to my right, you guys can't see it, but right over here to my right, I would just let garbage pile up. And it really didn't look that different from XQC and Asmon, you know? So I want to judge, but I don't think I can. I don't think I can judge him for this. The literal dead rat alarm clock thing is definitely like well beyond any kind of squalor that I've ever lived in. But as far as just the trash and the clothes kind of build up, well, I can't judge too harshly.
I think that I've been slowly devolving into the most mean-spirited, I don't really even know what the word is for it. Just like the most mean-spirited, rude, like nasty, like just callous, psychopathic version of myself. I think that I've been devolving into this. And wow. A lot of my friends have told me this. My dad has told me this. He said, you've got to chill out. You've got to calm down. I've been like, oh, that old man doesn't know what he's talking about. And I've finally had some level of accountability for that. And thank God. I look back at some of the things that I've said and done over the past 2 years, and I don't think that I've been wrong about everything, obviously.
Look, I think he's probably going to come back and he's probably going to do similar content talking about like anti-woke stuff. He was already, I think, tweeting and posting about how he's going to come back and do more DEI, anti-DEI content or whatever. So careful with the way that you interpret what I'm about to say. I think he's definitely gonna come out with some content that I don't like in the future. But what I do want to say right now is I read this mea culpa as pretty authentic. I've seen some YouTubers do mea culpas and it looks like total bullshit. It doesn't look like they've learned any kind of lesson. It looks like they're just saying sorry because they don't like the consequences of something that they've said rather than any kind of meaningful introspection or reflection or whatever. But I genuinely believe him when he talks about this because he's getting into details that resonate with me. I don't know if I've ever gotten as extreme as he has. Actually, no, I mean, I probably have. Like, there have been arguments that I've gotten into with people online, total strangers. I don't even know what their face looks like in real life, but I have found myself saying some, pretty ugly, nasty stuff before. And as a creator, if you're not careful to keep yourself grounded, if you're not careful to sort of like keep yourself tethered to some reality outside of this online space, it can do a number on your brain and it can kind of change the way that you think. And then you get into these patterns and then it becomes like an ingrained thing. So it looks like he was sort of going down that path and then he got bit by the internet because of this thing. I would say rightfully so. The rhetoric was pretty disgusting. But as far as apologies go, this one I have to say is pretty good. It seems sincere. I believe him when he's saying the things that he's saying here.
Obviously, right? But there have been ways that I've communicated and ways that I've acted that are indefensible. And I think looking back on it, it's just disgusting. And it's something that when you get lost in the sauce and you get fixated around like listening and reading feedback and, just getting hyper fixated, this is like your entire life, you lose a perspective on reality and you lose a perspective on the world.
It's true.
And I think that perspective was brought into perspective yesterday and the day before when I was making comments like this. And I feel so stupid. It's crazy. So I'm getting all these people making negative comments toward me. Everybody is telling me like, oh, go kill yourself, I hate you, everything like this.
Jesus.
Do you know who reached out to me? And they wanted to talk and have a conversation and see if I was okay. It's people that were Islamic and people that had fucking family in Palestine. And how humiliating is that? How absolutely humiliating is that? And these were the
wow. That's kind of something there.
The people I was trying to say were bad. And I feel like such a stupid asshole. I really do. I've always been a, you know, I guess like I've always been kind of like an atheist. And even as a young kid, I was raised Roman Catholic.
How old is he? I don't know. I'm going to guess he is 36. 34. Okay.
And I was always very defiant towards it. And I've always had a negative opinion of religion, and I've also had a negative opinion of religious cultures. And I think that that opinion is definitely shaped by the media that I've created, and the media I've created for myself, and then also just the media that exists, the media that I've chose to seek out as well. And I think that media has allowed me to have certain predispositions and certain biases that the truth is that don't have any sort of relation to what my own real life has been experienced.
Like, I feel like on the substance of this apology, like I can't dunk on him. Like this all to me just, it seems very grown up to me. One of the most valuable things that you can learn how to do as an adult is learn how to apologize. And I believe it is critically important, especially in relationships. Like those of you guys, I've been with Esme for 10 years now, basically. And those of you guys that have been, and forgiveness, that's another one too. And we'll get to that. But like when you're in a relationship with someone for a really long time, it is impossible, I think, to have a healthy relationship with someone if you don't know how to apologize. And maybe some of us have been in toxic relationships before, where you're getting into an argument and things are getting kind of tense, and people are, you know, emotions are flaring up, and maybe there's some anger there, and then one person or the other or both say something like, well, you know, I'm sorry, fine, what do you want me to say? I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry, fine, I'm sorry. That's actually not an apology. An apology is, to me, a thorough admission of something that you've done wrong. It is an acknowledgement that you stepped out of bounds. It's an acknowledgement that you hurt someone. Whether or not you meant to hurt them, sometimes that's not even relevant. So you could be over here like, what do you mean? I didn't mean it like that. What are you talking about? Why are you experiencing this emotion? Why are you getting upset? Which is just the wrong thing to say. People say things and feelings come up. And if you're in a relationship with someone, your partner's feelings need to matter, right? Like, so even if your intention was something totally different and you did something to hurt their feelings, one of the best things that you can do in a relationship, or one of the best qualities that you can cultivate within yourself, is an ability to put your ego aside and say, hey, when I said that thing, I wasn't really thinking about it, but I can totally see how, you know, it hurt your feelings, and I feel really bad about that, and I'm sorry. That's like the best apology that you can give. And sometimes it takes a really long time to like figure that out, right? Like nobody's perfect. Everybody's on their own path, right? You know, so we learn these lessons on the timeline that we learn them on, and sometimes you can't force somebody to learn it. They have to learn it through experience. They have to go through the experience of hurting someone's feelings, and then seeing that hurt and feeling that remorse and guilt, and then maybe something in them shifts and you start to think about things differently, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that my words can have like that kind of impact. I didn't realize that my actions can have this kind of impact on someone's well-being. And so as far as apologies go, his right now is actually, I would say, really good. He's fully owning something that he did wrong, like fully owning it. And I don't read this as insincere. I think he's being 100% sincere. And again, he's going to, you know, he'll come back to YouTube at some point. He'll come back to Twitch at some point. And I'm sure he's going to say stuff that I disagree with, like a lot. Like that's not going away or whatever. But this to me seems yeah, pretty sincere.